Back to our podcast, the Strong Girl Shuffle.
Amen, sister.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our first couple episodes. I hope you enjoyed them. We'd love to get all the feedback. Write us a comment. Check out our Instagram. We're going to give you the shout out on exactly our Instagrams at the end, so stay tuned.
That's right. You want to know what we're all about? And this podcast in particular is going to be a very special one. As you can tell, we are back on Allie's couch.
Couch talk.
Because we are going to be talking about
Strongman, my favorite thing of life.
That's right. We're going to be going straight into our strongman journeys as well as our firsthand experiences and my firsthand experience with it.
Yes, she's done it twice now. Her first time was a little while ago, and then the other one was just the other night. So we're going to go into more detail about that very soon. But I wanted to check in with how you've been doing with your goals.
Well, here's my thing. I can't fully remember because it's been so long since we talked about it.
It's been a little while, not gonna lie, yes.
I remember that I said that I wanted to do 10,000 steps a day.
Yep.
So I've actually been keeping up with that. Very, very nice. I also want to clarify, it's Pikmin Bloom, not Pikmin Go. My brother was very upset when I mispronounced the Pikmin app.
Yeah, one thing to learn about us is we don't pronounce everything right, and that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah, you wanted to cut the whole thing out. Like, no, this is too good.
Yeah, I was like, please just put a little blurb, edit. So I've been keeping up with that. I've been doing 10,000 steps almost daily. There was one day in particular where I didn't get the chance to do it, and that was our snowy day. So
yeah, that makes sense.
It just got too rough. But I did go for some jogs.
Nice.
I actually started going back and doing some running.
Awesome.
It's horrible.
I have no desire. Like, it sounds torturous, but
in the cold climates, yes. Like
I know for me, like, this was way back when I used to run in like gym class, whatnot. Yeah. Being outside in the cold really affected my breathing.
Yes.
And my because I have asthma, but it doesn't really affect me very much unless I have a cold.
Yes.
Unless it was a or very cold temperatures.
Yeah.
Those are the only times that my asthma acts up.
Yeah. So I definitely 100% I can agree with that. Like when you're running, like my personal experience is I went down to Victoria Park and I ran the flat podium.
Yeah. The
boardwalk. Thank you. And it was just like, it felt like there was just ice on my chest.
Yeah.
And that was what it would feel like. But it just got to a point where I just put a scarf around my nose.
Oh, okay. So warm up the air that you're breathing in.
Yep. So I just put a bandana around my face and I just continued running.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think there was another one. No, that was yours. Your water intake.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It could be better. So I think I've cracked about why I haven't been drinking enough water. Mm-hmm. So I have this water bottle, which it's been a while, but I had a different top. So now this one doesn't have a straw. No. So I do not like drinking out of a straw when I am working out because it makes me sick, as we will learn. And so I switched to this one, which is a drink to like twist and just dump type situation. And I think that's what's been causing me so much issues with my casual drinking of water.
Because it's more of like a sports.
It's more of an act, and like it's a heavy. It's like it's 40 pounds or 40 ounces.
Yeah,
and it's just it's not as easy as it was. Yeah. And so I think that's what I think I cracked the code as to why my water intake has been so low.
Okay.
It's because I don't like my water bottles.
You're not gravitating towards it because it's so heavy and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that right now.
It's it's not as easy as popping the top and taking a swig.
Yeah.
There's a twist top to it, and the twist top is very finicky. Because sometimes I right before we sat down, it was only partially on. It's on, but it sometimes doesn't twist all the way. Like, it's not the best top. No. So I think that's the root of my issues for not getting enough water.
Okay.
So hopefully Santa will bring me one. We'll find out.
We'll see. We'll check and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then my other one was to go to the gym and to work out 3 times a week and do strongman training. Yeah. So that's been going okay. So I'm still in a little bit of transitional feel. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be sticking with the current gym I'm at. I'm like, do I want to go with that? Or do I want to just stick with my strongman training? I'm not sure. So I didn't sign up for the gym for December just because I knew I wouldn't be able to really put the time and the effort into it, right? Yeah. With like Christmas, going home, busy. Like it's not the right time. So I'm gonna reevaluate that gym in January and see what I feel. But I've been doing my strongman training, which is going really well, and I'm enjoying that, and that's a lot of fun. So I'm still working out, but I know in the new year I'm going to be doing a bit of a challenge. So me and my roommate and one of her friends are going to be doing like not quite a 75 hard, but something similar, a little more up to our speed. We jokingly said we were going to start it in December, and we lasted like 3 days, and we're like, nope, let's do this in the new year.
Do you mind giving some context to that, because I didn't know what that meant?
75 hard?
Yeah.
So 75 hard, it's a very intense program. It's like it's 2 45-minute workouts a day. No junk food, no alcohol, clean eating. You're reading 10 pages a day, like 3 gallons of water. Like it's very regimented. It's a very strict thing. And I don't want to be that strict.
It's very scheduled.
Very scheduled. I think and so I'm gonna work out the details, and I'll share it with you guys once I know. But like I'm gonna be focused on working out, doing my strongman training, and then doing more core exercises and doing more home workouts, and like spending less screen time, like more of those type of things, like more attainable goals, because the 75 hard is not something that's feasible for me.
You're trying to develop good habits.
It's really more of a habit thing.
Yeah.
So like I'm going to be planning and doing a little bit more. So like one of the things is reducing my screen time. I watch a lot of screen. I love a good TV show. I can binge for hours. And so I want to spend some time doing other things, like, okay, working on this podcast, working on a puzzle. I'm going to do puzzle for Christmas. Nice. Working on some more things versus just, especially when it's dark, I usually would just go sit down in front of the TV for a few hours.
Yeah, like I've noticed that myself.
Yeah.
When it gets a little bit darker, it's just like, I want to go to bed by 8 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like, I can't do this. So I got into a habit of, like, I'll sit on the floor.
Oh, okay.
So that way I'm not, because I find like when I'm sitting in a couch, I just lock into it.
Ah, yes.
And then that's when the scrolling begins, the doom scrolls.
Yep.
And then watching TV. I don't necessarily do. I mean, like I watch YouTube, but like that's just for background noise.
Oh no, like right now I'm deep in rewatching Once Upon a Time.
Nice.
Oh, so good. So
Very
good.
nice.
And then like me and Allison were watching The Golden Bachelor. Love that.
Yeah.
And then so there are some shows, and I don't think it's wrong to have shows and to watch.
Absolutely
but
not.
I can't, like, yesterday was like my lazy day. I spent like 4 hours in front of the TV. Like, no.
Yeah.
This
is the thing. I will not say that watching TV is bad.
No.
Because I think that it's a good thing. Like I started this is gonna show my true colors. I started rewatching Inuyasha. That would be my background noise because I've already watched it 1,000 times. I read the manga. It's a cartoon. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I know
I've heard of that one. Actually.
I know it's an anime, but it's a cartoon for all intents and purposes. And the thing is like it's okay to watch an hour or two of TV a day. That's fine.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what most people allow their children to watch. But it's when you binge watch.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you're spending like 4 hours on the couch doing nothing, just watching TV. Like, I feel like it's not good for your body.
No, it's not. So those are some of the things that I'm going to do. My goal is definitely to get reamped, but like I know they will, and like I don't want to be too hard on myself. It's Christmas. There's a lot of like Christmas parties. There's a lot of things going on.
It's nonstop in December.
It's nonstop. So like I'm not being too hard on myself.
Good.
But that is something I would like to get going for sure in January.
Good.
And like I already have the stickies up on my wall, or partly up on my wall.
Nice.
And then I got a new journal today to keep track. Miss Megan gave me my Christmas present today.
Yeah, we did exchanging.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at with my goals.
Okay. 2 things.
Okay.
First thing, how's your meal prep going?
It's going pretty good. Like it definitely could be better, but it's going well for that. Like I have been eating out less.
Good.
It could be better options. Like I know,
always,
but I would say it's probably better like a 75.
Okay, yeah.
And 100.
Yeah.
That's 75%.
That's good. It's a pass.
It's a pass.
And I mean, at the end of the day, you can always do more. You can always be better.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you are trying.
Exactly.
And that's all that matters.
Effort. Yep.
Good. I'm glad. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That was something. And then for me, it was working on my writing and talking to some publishers and whatnot. So actually, a little god fairy, I'll say it like that. Little god fairy. She was watching over me. My my little fairy godmother.
Yeah.
She was watching over me, and I'm enrolled in school, so I'll be starting that in January for journalism communications. And I've actually been speaking to an author here on the island.
Very exciting.
And she invited me to join a writers guild.
Yeah.
So we were talking about that prior. But that's why the excitement's like, yeah.
It's great. We love the excitement.
Yeah, we've shared this conversation many, many times. But just for the viewers out there, I have been invited to a writers guild. I haven't reached out yet just because I wasn't sure like how January was going to go.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to like wait it out and see. But now I'm really thinking like the time's moving and like I got to either move with it or I got to sit down,
pick it up,
be humbled. Yeah. So that's it. That's really it.
That's awesome. I was so excited. I can't wait to hear how that goes.
I'm excited for you too. So I can't believe that you're not joining the gym again. And like, I didn't know that you were.
No, I didn't join.
Jeans.
I don't know. I'm at the point now. Like I gave the gym I was at a good shot. Like I think I went like 6 or 7 times, and it's not bad. It's just I'm not using it as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just the month, December, still getting into the swing of things. I'm not sure. So I'm wondering if I should put my focus more on doing the Strongman gym training, which I really enjoy and I love going to and I'm excited to go to.
It's still twice a week.
And that's twice a week.
Yeah.
And then do home workouts and then just work on like my strength training there.
Yeah.
And that way I'm focusing on what I actually really want to do.
Yeah.
So that's something like that's just kind of been a newer thing that I've been thinking about. I'm excited to go to Strongman. I'm not excited to go to the gym. So why not waste my money, but I should be putting my money.
Spend the money and invest in something that you're not going to enjoy.
Exactly. Nope. So the money that I would put towards the gym, I can sign up for another 6-week class.
No, I can agree with that.
So that's where I'm contemplating.
No, that mentality's logic.
Yeah, like and always the goal was twice a week.
Yep.
Like that's something I've been consistent with for
4 years,
just over 4 years now.
Yep.
So that is the true goal: is twice a week working out. That is my consistency that I refuse to let go of. And I have let it go a little bit here and there, but like for the most part, twice a week is where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And then like I can still do some home stuff, and then like if I want to, I can still go back to that gym, right?
Yeah.
Or like there
it's
are
not
options.
Set in stone.
No, it's just kind of I'm evaluating what I want to do. If that is what I want to go for, that's all.
Yeah, and I think that's really smart decision to make because, like you said, you're used to that structure of 2 times a week, and by going into the Strongman, something that you're passionate about, you are still keeping that goal.
Yeah.
It's just that you're putting more time and energy and patience into one specific aspect of it, rather than, like you said, just going to the gym and being like, I'm not happy with this. I'm not working as hard as I could be.
I don't work out as hard as I could and that's another thing that I found, like I was not pushing myself.
Yeah.
And I am able to push myself. I found I was pushing myself more at home.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay,
yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's not a for sure thing because I did really enjoy the gym, and maybe in the future I'll go, or maybe I'll go back to a good life. I don't know. But right now for December and January, I'm taking a pause from that gym. I'm still going to be doing the Strongman twice a week as much as I can.
Yeah. And I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that's more than logical.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. So that moves perfectly into our next section of Tarot Time. And we are going to be going into the Wild Unknown Tarot, one of my favorites.
I think we did this one in our last Strongman episode as well. This was like your first tarot deck?
Probably, yeah. It is my first. So we probably did. Yes. It was still sitting out here, let's be real.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. So today's tarot, we're going to be using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. Ooh. We're going to be doing this one. I'm going to do some shuffle.
This was your first tarot deck, right? Yeah. And we used it last time when we were talking about Strongman. I feel like it's only fitting to use this again, just to ease into the transition. Whoop. Oh.
The Hangman.
You using that one today?
And the bottom of the deck.
I love how it's a bat. It's freaking bats.
Let's find out which way it goes.
Oh, God.
Upright.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom of the deck, so the Hangman card is a very interesting card. It is a bat that is hanging up from the darkness. So the top of the card is very dark, and it's very fine line art is the key of this. So it's all leading to light at the bottom. We have a bat with its wings wrapping around it, with bright red eyes staring at you, bright pointy ears. And it is the Hangman. So what I know about the Hangman card, it's talking a lot about patience, resting, going inwards, looking for the right spot. It's like taking a moment to assess, which is funny because what we were just talking about.
Yeah. I think it's really fitting too, because where the bat is, her location, she's just, I say she, I always use she as a derogatory sentence, but the bat is like hanging down as if it's sleeping, and it's resting and recovering, like you were saying.
Exactly. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Wands, one of my favorite cards. It is a beautiful staircase leading up to the crescent moon. The bottom is very dark, and leading up, it has a little bit of a pink tinge to it. And the steps are the twigs or the wands, so to speak. And I just love this card. I think it's a beautiful card.
I don't think oh no, I have seen that card. Yeah. It's just been a while. Yeah. No, that's a really beautiful description.
It is. I really like this card. It's one of my favorites.
No, I like that. I also find it really interesting that both of the cards, like Allie and I were discussing that in our last podcast, or our last episode, I should say, with the colors. Yeah. We were talking about like how this deck in particular, the colors are variant depending on the emotion behind the card or the intent behind the card. And both of these cards have red.
I wouldn't say that's red though.
No?
It's more of a light hint of pink. Those are red eyes.
Yeah, these are like
those are 100% red, but this I wouldn't say is red.
Okay, I would have thought like more of a muted sunset red. But I think you're right. I think it is more pink.
Yeah, it's more pinky mauve.
Okay. So you said that the Hangman is more of like a protective, resting.
It's like taking that moment to be still, be with your thoughts, go inward, collect meditations kind of come to mind.
Okay. When I look at this card, I kind of see like similar to you. It's a hibernation, but it almost looks alert because his eyes are open.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an awareness of needing to take that mind back, to take that time for yourself. And then the book itself, it says the sacrifice of letting go. So many people talk about the art of letting go, but what does it really mean? How do you achieve it? The Hangman has all the answers. He's the master of non-attachment. The card implies there's a sacrifice or a difficult or painful situation coming up in your life. Though you naturally want to resist and struggle through it, be more like the Hangman. Find stillness, open your eyes, and use the new perspective to learn something. You're stuck here either way. It's kind of a blend of what we both said.
It really is.
Okay. Nine of Wands. Now, I never really said any structure behind this one, but I don't know how to read this one.
Oh.
It's a little bit weird for me.
Oh, I thought it was quite straightforward.
But like,
what do you see? Because I don't think I mentioned what I see.
I see fear.
Really?
Stairs are my worst enemy. Let's just disclose that right here and now. So I hate staircases. I hate climbing them. I hate going down them. I have the worst set of stairs in my basement apartment.
You do have the worst set of stairs in life.
So seeing this, I'm dreading what's at the top. I'm dreading it.
Why do you see dread?
Because everything's black around me. It's just darkness. And then there's just this bright moon. But I always know that at the end of the tunnel, it's not always what it appears to be. So right now, you see the crescent moon. She's calling to you. She says that it's safe, but it could be a false security.
Do you usually get false security from the moon?
No. Yeah. But how do you know that that's really the moon?
Because it's a picture of the moon.
Yeah, it's a picture. Exactly. You don't know if it's the real moon. You don't know if it could be staged. That's all I'm saying. That's how I see that card.
That is so interesting. That is not how, to me, it's a ladder of success. You are working that's why I'm shocked by what you said, because it's the complete opposite in fear, which is, it's very different. This card to me, it's hope. It's, you've been through a long journey. You've gone through so much shit, but you're almost at that moon level. You can see it at the top. You've done all the hard work. You've come out of it. You've come out of that darkness. You reach your top. You reach your goals. That's what I see.
I don't know.
That's why I love
Maybe
this
I developed a new fear of unlocking the success. The 9 of Wands is strength, stamina, confidence. As the 9 usually implies, your journey is near completion. But on this final stretch, you find yourself growing weary, doubt, and fear. So that's my thing. That's my feeling towards this.
Finish it.
They're running through your mind, the feelings that come from this card. The 9 of Wands asks you to rally your confidence and realize how far you've come, to lift your eyes and take a few more steps. Soon, all your hard work will start to pay off.
Yeah.
But like, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's written right there. Weary, doubt, and fear.
But you don't see the light of it.
No, I don't. Because I'm not at that top yet.
No, but you see the top.
I see the top, but that's scary. It's so far up. That's not the real moon.
Turn around, look how far you've come.
I don't want to look back.
Well, then why are you scared? You don't want to look back, but you're too scared to go forward.
Then I'm stuck in a stasis. I'm stuck on that step.
And that's why you're stuck in darkness.
Allie's like rolling her eyes at me right now.
I am.
For all of you audio viewers.
I am. I'm not impressed.
No.
But you think it's so dark that you don't see the hope.
Last week.
Says the dreamer.
I was just going to say last week.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm like shocked that you don't see that.
I can't see it yet, but that doesn't mean that's not there.
Yeah. But there is fear and fear and doubts and those type of things. Those come in at those last minutes.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like it's just confirmation that you're on the right track.
The hope that it's gonna get like
it's not the hope. It's the darkest before the dawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I find it really interesting too. Like we're talking about our intuition and like reading the cards. I find it really interesting how we read the cards very individually.
Yeah.
But they both blend together. And the 2 cards that I just read then, the Hangman and the 9 of Wands, we both saw the contrasting perspectives, but they blended together in the end.
They did.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Hope everyone had some water on their break. You didn't.
I literally just finished taking my sip. Roll back the clip. You'll see it.
Oops. I missed it. I was looking at you because that's right. I was chopping my eyes at you.
You're chopping your eyes.
Sorry. Take it back. So
I'm
now
holding you accountable for that.
That's right. Do that, please. So our next little section is talking about our first experience with Strongman training. Yes. So I want to know, why do you want to do it?
I really got entranced in the Strongman training and just the element of Strongman from you. Like I watched your first event, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but watching you and the community build up in front of me.
So did you come train after my first competition?
I did.
Okay. So I couldn't remember.
Did. So ironically enough, when I went to your Strongman training the first time, it was after your competition.
Okay.
I would say maybe a month or 2 after the competition. It was like
I wasn't
March,
sure.
April. Yeah, it was later in the year doing the Strongman event, seeing the community, getting to know the people who run the Maritime Strongman Corporation here on the island. And it made me feel more comfortable with going because it was like, okay, well, I know people now. And similar to you with being comfortable at the gym and not knowing anybody there is like that first time gym jitters. Mm-hmm. That was something that really scares me from going back to the gym. It's like, I don't know anybody there. They don't know me. So like the judgment's going to be there. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a new gym member. I do running. So, I mean, like for me to switch from running to weights, it's like apples and oranges. But then knowing people and knowing how the community runs and works, like it was a little bit more simpler. So that's mainly why I went. It's like I knew you were going there and I knew the people that were going there with you. And I wanted to experience it firsthand because seeing it versus doing it, completely two different
situations. Absolutely. So can you talk a little bit about what you did that first night? So the first night, we actually did the log press. Yeah. That was my first time doing anything like that. And it was very intimidating because it was only the lighter weight. It was like 50 pounds. 55 pounds. So it wasn't like the biggest log. And I used to carry physical logs for my dad when we were chopping up wood for the winter. But never have I ever had that experience.
They're very different.
Yes. The weirdest part about it was like my hand placement, which we can go further into detail, but I remember that very specifically. We did log press, and then we did, I think we just went, no, we went to sandbags. We did log press, sandbags, and then we did farmer carries.
Yeah.
Farmer carries, strangely enough, I thought I was going to hate it because I hate carrying groceries in my house, and I always compare the two. But it was my favorite exercise that night.
Yeah.
I will say. I was impressed with myself for the logs because I didn't think that I was going to be able to lift that weight.
Yeah.
Because it's a very awkward machine to carry.
Yeah, they can be very awkward. It's a lot of pressure, and it is pretty technical movement.
Just the hand. Like, you have to have your wrist at a very certain angle in order to be able to lock it later on. Because you're rolling it up to your body and then pressing.
It's a very technical movement, so it's a 3-point. So you deadlift it up, you squat it down, you roll it up. Actually, it's 4.
Yeah.
And then overhead press.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of movements to it, but I really enjoy the log. Actually, it's one of my favorites.
The log is really fun, and to know the mechanism, or the mechanics behind it, to know like how to do the 4-point system.
Yep.
And be able to do it properly, so you're not hurting yourself later on. That's actually a more tactical feat than I expected.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I'm kind of always in my head when I'm in the gym anyways, because I'm afraid that I'm doing things wrong. But when it came to the log, like, I don't know, after you do it so many times, you said it on Friday, but it's a muscle memory at that point. You do it so many times, the next time you pick it up, it's like, it's just memory.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sandbags, so awkward.
Yeah, I don't like sandbags.
I
do them, but they suck.
Oh, they suck. I'm trying to remember now what the weight was on those. I think it was 100 pounds.
Yeah.
100 pounds. 100
pounds. Yep. Did you get it to your shoulder? Or just to your chest?
Just to my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got it up to my chest, and I was like, okay. And then you were talking to people last week about it, because you had to actually carry the sandbag from one side of the gym to the next. And like just holding that to your chest and trying to breathe while holding that there. I don't know how people can get it on their shoulder. Like, honestly.
Shoulder's easier than walking with it on your chest.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so you were talking about how you really enjoy farmers carries. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I was surprised, honestly. I really liked the mechanism. I knew I was going to like that mechanism. It's just a square box around you, and you have to lift up on either side.
You did the frame.
I did. You
didn't do the frame. No, the farmers and frame are different.
Oh.
Farmers are not connected. Frames are.
Okay, it was connected.
Okay, so you did the frame.
Okay.
Still, it's the same idea. It's just it's a little different. It's because
it's a different structure.
It's a solid mass compared to farmers carries, which are 2 separate events, and so it's a little more unstable and it's a little harder.
Yeah.
Compared to the frame, which is still a challenging movement. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's all connected, so like
it's easier to find more balance with the frame, because I remember they put 65 pounds on it, on top of the actual frame itself, which I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
But I brushed that mentality aside. Yeah. I picked it up and like I moved forward, and I found that I was more front heavy than I was back.
Yes.
But I think that's normal.
Yeah, that is normal. You usually pick it up and you're usually at an angle most times. It's very rare that you're one way or the other.
We also believe that the gym is slightly tilted, because it was definitely harder to go up one way than it was back.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing a marble next time we go. I'm testing that theory out because I believe it's a thing.
Probably, but incline make more challenging, get you stronger.
Absolutely.
And so this past week you came again. And so what do you want to talk about the exercises you did this past weekend?
Absolutely. I can't remember the name. I call them overhead press, but I don't think that's the right name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an axle press. Axle because it's a thicker bar.
Okay. Yeah, it was massive. Like it was very girthy.
Yep.
And I'll use that term.
That's what it is.
I've never held anything so thick in my hands in my life.
Girthy. Axle, clean and press is what you did.
Yeah. So the way that because we had a trainer who was helping us with the actual muscle memory or the movements itself. So the gentleman had told me that like I can either do it with no thumbs or with thumbs. I cannot imagine somebody lifting that girthy metal bar. I'm going to keep saying it just to make people cringe as they watch this. Put that bar, you put it to your chest, and then you move back. You give yourself a little woohoo jump, and then you push up.
I don't use my thumbs.
No, like I can't.
can't.
I can't visualize it.
Yeah.
Because when I was holding on to it, I think it's because I have carpal tunnel, maybe. Because
Yeah.
when I was holding on to it, I tried doing it when there was no weight on the bar and I was just doing the bar itself, and it felt awkward. But not only that, like it felt really unstable to me, so I had to put my thumbs around it because I was like, I knew that once the weight got put onto it, it was going to be more complicated.
Oh yeah, and everyone's different. Like that's totally fine to do with your thumbs up, thumbs down. It's whatever comfortable to you.
Absolutely, it's whatever is going to get you to be able to lift it.
Exactly. And so like we were doing the same movements, but just we're at different levels. So I was doing the axle clean and press, and you were just doing the axle press.
Yeah.
So it was already up and racked.
Yeah.
And I know for me, even between me and one other girl who were doing it, we clean, which means getting it to your shoulders, very differently.
Yeah.
And it's something that she struggles with, but is a phenomenal presser. Like it's just one of those things. And I remember her watching me, and I've watched a lot of videos on how to do this. And she's like, you're doing it like a log.
Yeah, because you were just rolling it up on your body like it was nothing.
So like it stayed here and just went up, and I just rolled my wrist.
Yeah.
Where she was trying to go up with it and doing and so there's different techniques, and you watch and you learn from the other people, and to see what works best for you.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that, and it's really funny to witness the small changes that every person makes for a certain exercise. That was something that really blew my mind. And to think that there's physiotherapists out there and there's gym trainers, like there's just people out there who witness these small little changes to amplify the success rate of the lift or whatever they're doing.
And that's why we split into two groups. And so one trainer was with two of us, because we were at a different level. We've been training for a year now, compared to you guys. It was just
we just started.
And so it's one of the great things about Island Strength and Power is that there isn't that many people, but there's a lot of coaches. Like there's technically 3 coaches.
Yeah.
One just had a little baby, so he's been a little busy.
Yeah.
We'll give him a break this time.
He's BIA at the moment.
Yeah. But like say we were able to split off into 2 groups, and like we've been lucky that we've actually had a lot of new people come out. Every week there's been at least one new person, which has been really exciting to see others. And then there's me and Christine just like high five, and we still have another week. It's just me and you, girl. So it's really fun to see that there's people coming in, but also having the flexibility to be like, okay, you're going to work on this. Well, we don't need to work on the press part or whatnot, or we need to work on getting those heavy weights up to our shoulders.
Yes.
But that's something we worked on. We did this in our Atlantic. So it's not a new movement for us.
Yeah.
Whereas like the week before we were working on the circus dumbbell, which is something I had never done before.
Yeah.
And so that was a new movement. We took it really slow. We broke it down and was able to get it up type of situation. So how did you feel afterwards? That was one thing, like you've talked to me about like how I felt after. Did I get that excitement? Did I feel jazzed? How did you feel after?
Do you want me to be like brutally honest with this? I felt like throwing up.
Yes.
And I know the other person who was working out with us.
This past Friday or the first time you did it?
This past Friday.
Yeah.
I know, like, I'm not the only one who
felt
that way.
One thing we forgot to mention is we did sled pulls.
Oh yes.
So right. this past week you did the axle clean and press and sled pulls. Sled pulls are hard.
And I pulled 190 pounds.
Yeah, you did.
And like I didn't know that I pulled that until my partner, who was also present in the moment, had confirmed that was the weight that I pulled. And I was like, and I remember when I pulled it back, then it was my partner's turn to do the same routine. And then he added the weights on, and I'm not saying that they looked at me and they were like, oh, she's going to need a smaller weight, but they did go a lot easier on me than I was expecting them to. They went a lot easier on me. And then the very
I don't know. You said you almost threw up.
Well, yeah, because the reason why I felt like throwing up, I'll explain in a second, but it wasn't because of the weight. It wasn't because of the workout that I was doing. It was what I was doing after the workout. So we were slugging the weights, and then they added extra weights for my partner and for another person at the gym. And they started pulling those weights, and then my partner felt like passing out on the floor, so he just curled up in a ball in the corner.
He was a little down there like, oh, is he gonna make it? He's just sleeping here tonight.
Yeah, we honestly thought he was gonna stay there. And then I pulled that weight that they were carrying, and I was like, wow, this is actually like, this is the one that's giving me the trouble. But it's not a painful trouble. It's like, I can manage this.
But one thing that you don't know your limit.
No.
And you will hurt yourself.
Yeah.
If you were given the option to do all three of those, you would do it out of pride that you wanted to do it and show that you could do it.
Oh yeah, I pulled through it.
And then you would be so sore, so sick, and you would not want to come back.
Yeah.
And that is why they are there to train you. If you were trying to do the axle clean and press like we were doing, it wouldn't happen.
No.
It would not have happened. It would not have been enjoyable experience for you because you couldn't do it.
Like the last weight that they had given me, I just wanted to try it and see. I can't remember what the weight was specifically. I couldn't get that last one. No. I got frustrated over it. Yeah. So like I agree what you're saying. If I were to do your weight class, I wouldn't be able to do it.
And like even this, it just shows that you want to be as strong as everybody else, but no one's as strong as the other person.
Sled pull.
Yes, you're talking about the sled pull. And yeah, so I was talking about how you put more weight on and you were like, yeah, I finally feel that. Yeah. I'm feeling very excited, which is really good and really exciting, but that's what they are there for. Like even with myself, like I have had a hip injury that I've been going on and off. And so I knew after the first one, I should not be trying to do the sled pull.
Yeah.
I even said, I'll give it a try. And then I took one step and I felt it.
You knew your limit.
I knew my limit. Yeah. But I was stubborn. I did it once.
Yeah.
And then we moved on and I did the sandbag carry. Yeah. No problem. Still got the work in, just a different work.
Still did the workout, but just a different one.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's like, that is the good thing about having the coaches and having other people around, because if you were just trying to keep up with everyone else, you're doing yourself at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I've noticed with you is that you push yourself too hard, and I don't think you realize how hard you're pushing yourself past the limits.
Oh, trust me, I realize.
Yeah.
I realize how hard I push, and I realize I'm being stubborn, but it's because of my experience and my lifestyle that I know that I always try to push myself further, because there's always times where I limit myself and that I never reach that potential.
Exactly.
So,
but with strength boards, you can't do that.
No.
And that's what I'm learning too, because I want to go into that open category.
Yeah.
I do. And like the fact that the nationals are in Moncton, like I want to do it, but in my heart, I know it's not smart.
Yeah.
As much as I want to do it, it's not a smart, safe thing for me to do.
It's better to take the time to regain your muscle, because you've taken some time off as well. So it's better to like regain that muscle memory.
But it's still like, I'm not there. I'm not at that level.
No.
Like even if I hadn't taken that break off, or I'm still with Blair, I don't think I'd be at that level. I really don't.
No.
It's too big of a jump. That like open category is the best of the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like it would be a different story if I was going to a different category besides novice.
Yeah.
I think that would be a different story. But for me, I am going to the best of the best. I'm going from novice to the best of the best.
Yeah.
That is not realistic to do in a year.
No, I can agree with that. You definitely need more time and more training and practice for yourself, and to make sure that you're not going to like injure yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me neither.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is, did you enjoy it?
I did. Yeah.
Like, I know really you were sore, and you were a bit sore today. But like how did it make you feel doing these things?
I felt really good. Now, we were talking earlier about like after the experience, I felt like throwing up, and it was because the water bottle that I was using a straw.
Yeah.
So I was inhaling water and air at the same time.
Yes. No, the straw, I can't drink a straw while I'm working.
You can make yourself sick.
Yep.
And then with the sled pulls specifically, like one of the guys there, he noticed that my knee was jerking when I was pulling it back. Mm-hmm. And he was like, is everything okay with your knee? And I was like, well, I'll be honest with you. Like I do a lot of running, and I noticed that my left knee is a little bit worse. And it's just because I rely on it so much for weight distribution that it's actually a lot weaker.
Yeah.
So we learned a different technique. And then when I went up to a higher weight for the last pull, I would not be able to do 3 sets of those. I can confirm that. I would know that is just not possible. But just for 1 set, just for like the last set, just like push it to the limit kind of thing, I knew that I could do it. And then when I was pulling it, I never found any experience with my knee after, which I thought was really strange, because you would think that with a heavier weight, like you said, with your hip, when you were trying to pull it, you felt that jerk movement had affected your hip. I felt like it was going to be the same thing with my knee, and nothing happened. So I felt really good about that. I was like, okay, well, that's great, because like now I know that I'm pushing myself to a limit where it's like on that bar of maybe too much, but you can still do it.
Yeah.
And then when I finished the set, I was like, you know what? Like, this is great. My hands are killing me. My knees kind of weird, but I drive stick, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I never had any trouble when I was driving.
No, that's good to hear.
Yeah. So,
but how do you feel today? It's 2 days later.
Today, I definitely feel it in my triceps and my shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's
you're using muscles you haven't used, but absolutely. It's a good hurt, right?
Oh, it's definitely a good hurt.
Yeah.
My partner, on the other hand, he definitely did not know his limit, and he pushed, and now he is currently on our couch, probably still on our couch since I left home.
Poor guy.
So you want to talk about stubborn?
Yeah. Oh yes. No. You're both very the same. I know that, because like even him, like I noticed that as well too.
Oh yeah.
And like, and even the other girl too. We all pushed our limits. Like absolutely. I almost felt like slightly not, because I switched to a different thing.
Yeah.
But like that's something, this is the one particular exercise that has always aggravated my hip.
Yep, and you need to accommodate for
that. And that is something I have known since I hurt my hip. I don't even know exactly what it is. It's something with an impingement or whatnot. And this is the walking backwards with the sled is I felt that pain and the instability of it for over a year now. So I knew, like, as soon as they said we're doing sled pulls, I did not think I was going to be able to do it.
No.
So I did do one, and I was like, okay, I did one, and I felt it, and I said something, and so I was like, okay, I'll give it a sec, and then I'll try the other. And I took one step, and it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And I know I was like a little discouraged myself, being like, wow, I can't do that.
But you still accommodated for that.
Yeah. So I was, that's when
an exercise. It just wasn't the same thing that we were doing.
Yeah. And so that's why I switched to the sandbag on my chest, which is always fun for breathing.
Honestly, I kind of feel like you had the worst brunt of it. Like, we had the sled pulls, which was not easy, but I feel like the sandbag carries is so much worse.
It's not, yeah, it's definitely worse. It's different.
100 pounds on your chest?
Yeah. Sitting on my chest 3 times up, 3 times back.
I can play with my 5-pound cat sitting on my chest. So I can only imagine what 100 pounds on my chest would feel like. So I get it.
Yep. Exactly. So now that you've gone now twice, you're going to come back?
Absolutely.
Is this something you're going to regularly do, or is it just for fun?
I'm going to try to regularly do it. It's just with my schedule now with school, I really need to see what that schedule is like. Because I heard from other people, and I think it was you that mentioned it as well. My program and like just the institute itself, they don't have classes on Friday.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So I'm going to have to confirm that, because if that's the case, then like, heck yeah, I'm going to go. But if not, then I really need to like evaluate my time based off that. And we mentioned that Sundays more so like everybody does their own thing in that gym. So I'd like to go Sundays because it's a bit more relaxed, but I also think that having that training session with those people, I think you need
like, unless you wanted me to kind of be like and follow what I'm doing, make sure that you're learning to do things correctly.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe sticking with Fridays for the first little bit, that way you're getting to learn, and then after the first round of 6 weeks or whatever, and then after that you'll have a better base knowledge, because I know you're concerned with form, which is an important thing, but you really fixate on that. And so you really want to nail that down.
Yeah.
And so the when to learn and when to get that nailed down is Friday nights with the intro.
Yeah. Cause I overextend my legs, and it's because I do a lot of running that I'm used to just like pushing my calves into the ground so I can do that sprint. And I have a tendency of walking on my tippy toes, which is not good for weight training.
No.
So it's
flat-footed.
You have to be flat-footed, and I found taking my shoes off helped with that. But at the same time, like, it really is a training thing.
Yep.
So I agree with that. Like, I do want to just take the first 6 weeks, if that, to just go on Fridays, do the training, and then eventually learn. And no offense to you for helping me train, but I don't feel like not that I can't do what you can do, but in this time for learning, I don't think I'd be able to keep up with you.
No, you wouldn't be keeping up with me.
No.
Like when I go and train on Sundays, I'm not keeping up with the other guys.
No.
Because but we're doing it at our own pace.
But then I feel
like. But I can't, but I would be teaching you.
Yeah. And by doing that, I feel like you would be depriving yourself of the time that you need for training. Because you go into the gym to work on yourself.
Yes.
To build up that strength, to build up that confidence. So I feel like if I were to jump on your coattails, and I'll say it like that, and do the workouts that you're doing, I feel like you're losing the time that you could have spent on yourself by doing that.
Maybe. I don't see it that way, but...
No. Because now you're training me instead of training yourself.
It would be like a training buddy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like you're not taking... When you're training with someone, you're not taking away from their time.
Okay.
And like, because even when I was training...
I've never had a gym buddy, so I don't know for a fact.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Okay.
But anyways, we do need to move on. We need to have a water break.
Yes. And we're back. Did you miss us?
And of course. For that water break intro.
Little hydration nation.
Yes.
All right. So we just talked about my journey and the first experience with strongman training.
Yeah.
I want to hear about yours because you...
but I thought I'd be kind of interested to talk about my first competition.
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
So
that was in February of last year, or this year, sorry.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my first one. So leading up to that, I probably started, like, I want to say around December of 2022 is when I think I started going to the Strongman gym in December for my first competition in February.
Yeah.
And so I was originally going to do a competition in July of that year. It was a summer showdown. And at that point, they did not have a novice category. So like I had mentioned earlier about the open category being the best of the best, they only had that option.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had signed up for it. I really did. I was signed up, and that's actually how I met one of the other girls there. And she invited me out to her place to do some training. And I realized after the first time I went there, I was way out of my league.
Mm.
And so I was like, whoa. And then my trainer, Blair, he did not want me to do it.
No.
And I was stubborn. I was like, no, I can do it. It's fine. He's like, are you sure? Why did you wait?
Yeah.
And then
I remember you being very adamant about it.
I was because this was my goal. The goal was 2022 was to do a strongman competition.
Yeah.
And then I realized after like meeting with her, doing the actual stuff, I was like, no, I shouldn't. And that's when my hip really started to flare up. And so I was like, okay, I'm like struggling to do normal things right now. Like I really should not be doing this. So I backed out. I ate my pride. I was very upset about that. But I felt like a failure. But I didn't. It was not a failure. But at the time, I was very upset about it. Mm-hmm. So then come February, they had novice categories. Okay, great. So the first thing was the Husafeld stone. So it's actually a metal stone. And the first time I did it in training, my arm was black. That was the worst bruise I've had in my life.
Yeah.
It really was. It was intense. I'll see if I can find some pictures.
It was like 2 inches off your skin.
Oh, it was braced.
It was massive.
My whole forearm was black. I'll have to put some pictures up when we post this episode.
Yeah.
Because they were intense.
Find it on her Instagram channel.
Yeah, there are some on my Instagram, but like I didn't even post the worst pictures because like it was a lot.
It was gory.
It was gory.
I honestly, the first time I saw it, I was like, put a pee bag on it.
Oh yes, we were in a meeting.
Yes.
And she comes in, she's like, oh dear God. Yeah. And so then it was the log. So that at that point the log was 100. The Husafeld was 130 empty.
Yeah.
So the goal was just to carry it for a minute. So I've been practicing carrying the weight for a minute, and so I was able to do that. I didn't get a full minute. I think I got 47 seconds, and because it started to slip off my arm.
Yeah.
Type of situation. But it was the longest I had carried it, so I was very happy about that. And then we had the log press. So at that point, it was 115 pounds. I had not gotten up to 100 and I think maybe 110. Mm-hmm. And I remember our last log session, we were all shit. Like none of us could get it up. We were like, oh fuck, we're like, how are we gonna do this? We gotta do this in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the coach was like, no, don't worry. This is how it goes. Yeah. Sometimes he's not there on the day, but you'll be there on there, whatever.
Yeah.
So we did the log, and I ended up getting 3. I was very excited about that. Mm-hmm. So that was the first one I thought I missed because I didn't look at the judge.
Yes.
I think I had mentioned that.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting 3. I was very excited about that because I was stoked because I had not done that.
No.
And then the next one was the deadlift ladder. So it started off with, and there were different bars. So the axle bar at 150, then a regular bar for 200, another bar for 250, and the last one was for reps.
Yeah.
And so the first few I did no straps, whatever, and then the last one I was repping it out. But I goofed because I was also the first one up.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize, like, I was at that point struggling to breathe because I'm wearing a belt. I just done all these lifts. I had probably done like 6 lifts. And so about, I want to say 6 lifts. So I was like, I took a moment, I unstrapped to breathe to get a couple more because you're hunched over.
Yeah.
And then hindsight, I should have just taken a knee like everybody else did. But, I didn't know. And so I tied that event. So I was very happy with that. Then we had the Dinny Stones. That's where the hands in the front, hand in the back.
That one was scary to watch.
I don't know why that was scary.
Because it's so close to your toe. It looks so close to your toe. So like if you drop it,
squish the toes.
Yes, ma'am.
So no, that one was good. I was feeling really good about that. I was like ready to go. I was ready to hold it, and I was starting to let go. I was like, oh shit, this is early. Then I realized I forgot chalk on a group event.
This is where a lot of my inside
That's
jokes
where you're going to hear a
it.
lot of jokes about chalk. She actually got me chalk for Christmas. I'm very excited. I've never tried the liquid chalk.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where that came. I wasn't thinking. I was first up. Never even occurred to me to put chalk on. I was like, shit. But it is what it is. And then the last one was a stone to shoulder. So we hadn't actually had a stone to try it. So we tried a sandbag, which it's similar, but they are different.
It's more awkward to lift.
And I remember the first time we were doing it, like all I had seen was like, oh, these people need to lap it. You need to lap it. That's what I thought I was supposed to do. And I remember Maxine was there and he's like, this is light. You don't need to lap it. I was like, what do you mean? Of course I do. And he just laughed at me and scoffed or whatever. And then I'm up and I go and do it. And then the first one I did, and I once again tried to lap it, and I'm not very good at lapping. That's something I need to work on. So I had put it in my lap and I gotten it to my shoulder, and then I put it down and I tried to lap it again, and I couldn't get it up, and so I dropped it, and then I just picked it up, put it on my shoulder, and he's like, see, that's what I was talking about. I was like, oh. And so then I did it, and it's funny, I kept on putting it to my left side, and I remember my mom saying, like, why'd you put it on your left side? And I'm like, I didn't realize it. It was just kind of like, that's just where it went. But it makes sense that I'm pushing with my right hand, which is my dominant, to my left. Type of situation.
No.
So that one, I ended up coming in second for. So I was very excited, very happy, and that really gave me the bug, the itch. It really solidified this is something I do want to do.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with it. It was such a positive experience.
Oh my gosh.
The people there were cheering me on, and the coach from the other team was literally telling me how to lift the stone to my shoulder.
Well, I remember your mother and we were behind you during that event. And we were just standing there watching you go through it. And we're like, oh my gosh, she's not even rolling it up like the other people are. Like you said, lapping. You put it on your lap and then you bring it up to your shoulder and then you go up.
Yeah. I was picking it up to my chest in there.
Yeah. She was just slugging it over her shoulder, man. And her mom looked at me and she was like, if this was me doing the event, I would drop it over my shoulder. And then someone had done that.
Yeah.
Right after your mom had said it. And I remember this gentleman next to us, he just started laughing. He's like, you jinxed that. He looked at your mom. He's like, you jinxed that now.
Yep, thanks.
The community was so positive and endearing. It was just so lovely.
It was. And that's it really, I knew that going in because I watched so much Strongman. I've watched so much. I knew what they would be like. But I know for you guys, it was a big eye opener. And it's really is the most. I've been in a lot of sports. Been around a lot of sports in my life. I love sports. It is one of the most supportive sports I've ever been to.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I remember specifically your mother, your father, and I were all sitting in this collective corner because the way that the gym was set up is there's this nice big square for the event itself. And then the corners where they have the bars, that's where we would be stationed. So we would have our chairs and we'd sit down and we'd watch. And people that you never met before in your life would come up to you and you guys would carry on a conversation about the event, do training exercises together, talk about swap experiences and stuff like that.
Help me put my sleeves on.
Yeah, exactly. And your mom looked at me every single time. Your mom looked at me and she's like, does she know this person? What's their name? And I'm like, I have no idea. I've never seen these people before in my life.
Yep.
So it was just really interesting to see people encourage each other to be the best selves.
Yeah,
which I really liked.
It is, and so that's definitely that was my first competition. I really enjoyed it. I really did catch that bug and see going into year 2. So obviously liked something about it.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun. And
something good came out of it.
Something good came out of it. And it's just it really showed me that like I am capable of more. And like I've always been strong. I've been strong my whole life.
Yeah.
And I always seen it as such a disadvantage, something to be shameful of, something to hide, not something to mention.
Well, we grew up, and now this generation's a little bit more accommodating and more open to change. But in our generation, it was a little bit more recluse. Like a woman couldn't be strong.
Yes.
That was something that was very distinctive in our generation when we were growing up.
It was almost frowned upon.
Yes.
And so for me, that is something I've always been. And I always I remember getting really pissed off when people were like, "Oh, can you go move this? Or can you get a man to come move this?"
Oh,
makes my blood boil. I remember multiple times working at a thrift store and be like, "Oh, can you get a guy from the back to come move this?" I'm like, "I'll move this chair.
I can move this.
Don't you?
Yeah.
And so that's something that's I always fought against.
Yes.
And something that always irritated me, and like women can't do that. No, women can do anything.
Absolutely.
And so yes, we might not do it the same. And we there is a biological difference between the strength the man has and the strength that a woman has.
Doesn't mean a woman can't try.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean that a woman can't be stronger than a man.
Yep.
Even if they are the same.
Yep.
Like even though it'd be different when they're competing the same thing.
Yeah.
But the strong women are definitely stronger than an average man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no denying that. But that was something I was really ashamed of, and I didn't see it as an asset. And it really took Blair pointing it out to me, being like, "You are fucking strong and own it." Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I don't want to own this. I don't want to be strong. I remember being like, I want to be big, or I want to be strong but not big.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I said. And he's like, "Well, if you're gonna be strong, you're gonna get big."
Yeah.
Because you're building those muscles. You can't, if you want to have muscle. If you want to be strong,
you got to get big.
Yeah. And I see that as such a disadvantage. And that's something I still struggle with, is that mindset of big, strong person. Yeah. Because I don't want to be a big person, but I want to be strong. Yeah. And that is a very hard thing to balance in my life. But I'm working on it.
It's a harsh line to face.
Yep.
Because even myself, when I first started at the gym, I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to get bigger, and I wanted to get stronger by getting bigger, because I wanted that Wonder Woman figure. Yep. And she's not a petite woman.
Yeah.
So I can understand from that perspective, but then going through it, and then you yourself, you've gone through it your whole life. Yeah. It's a completely different experience.
It's opposites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to shift that mentality of, hello, we're back
for our closing thoughts.
But before our closing thoughts, Allie, I just wanted to, we were tackling the subject of Strongman, your events, your training. I just want to know, now that you've experienced 2 events, you did one in February, you did another one in August, and no, you did 3.
I've done 3.
You've done 3 events. That's right, because you did 1
competitions.
Nova Scotia. Sorry, yes, competitions. Talk about the brain fog.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking about your 3 competitions and your experience with strongman training and my experience with strongman training. I want to know, I know it makes you feel good, but I want to know, over the 3 competitions that you've done, have you seen success in yourself? Have you seen yourself to be a little bit more stronger and have a little bit more confidence and self-esteem with that strength?
Yes, so I guess I never really thought of it. I would say, I definitely felt having the confidence to do it for one was huge.
Yeah.
Because this is something that it's a big deal to do, to put all this time and energy and to put yourself out there. Because I usually don't like individual sports. I like team sports.
Yeah.
Where I can work together as a team instead of being singled out on me. And that's very opposite of this. So that's very much pushing me outside of my comfort zone and building that confidence. I definitely feel like a badass when I'm doing this shit.
Absolutely.
I'm like, yeah, let's go.
You look like a badass while doing it.
Well, thank you. Yes, I love that. I do feel like a badass, and I feel like it's definitely the strength has given me a lot of like lifting weights and has made me feel confident in myself. Yes, and it made me okay to be the big and strong person that I was so scared to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess so.
Because like I've known you now for 2 years, almost 2 years.
Thereabouts, yeah.
It'll be 2 years in March. And I've witnessed you before you did the competitions, and I've witnessed you after, and I've definitely noticed an improvement in just the way that you hold yourself.
Okay.
So I was curious if you had noticed anything with yourself, because I remember when you did your second competition, you were a little bit bummed because you didn't place the same that you wanted to place.
I was happy with how I placed. I was upset about the last event, which we'll go into that day because that was a long day.
Yeah, it was.
I was upset about the last event. I was happy with everything else up until that last event.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was something that I wanted to talk to you, because when you go into your competitions, we have this huge group chat with family, friends, and everyone in between. Yeah. And it was we would discuss what the competition is, the events that take place, and the times, and your expectations. Yeah. So the first competition that you did, you exceeded your expectations.
Yes.
Which was super impressive.
Yes.
But then your second competition, I never really heard much about your expectations, but I did remember that you said that the last event was a little bit tricky.
So for that one, like I had gotten all that I had wanted. I won 2 events. Mm-hmm. One event I knew I wasn't very good at, so I was like, I just want to finish this thing. Yeah. Came in last, but I didn't. It's not like I was miles behind everyone else. No. Which is what I was concerned about. Yeah. Then there was this event in the middle, which was just kind of like a throwaway event. It sucked all around. No one knew where they were going to be. No one really knew. And then the last event I was excited for, but then the weights changed and I wasn't prepared. And the reason I was upset about that is because I didn't train as much as I could have, because I stopped training them to a heavier weight because I was told we'd be doing lower.
You hadn't expected.
Yeah, so that was the part that I was disappointed at with myself in that competition. Was I said if I did everything I could and came in last, I'd be happy. Yeah. And I had done everything up until that last event that's where I felt like I could have done more. Yeah. I stopped training going heavier. Yeah. To work on reps. Yeah. But in reality, I should have just kept on going heavier. Yeah. But hindsight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you learn from that experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the third competition, which was a whopper of a day, because it was in August. It was so...
the first event.
Yeah, the first event was nasty.
Yeah. Called it the murder medley.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to remember the name of it. I was like,
that's not what it's called. It's like a tire flip medley. I called it the murder medley. Yeah. Because it sucked. It sucked balls.
It looked like it sucked. But like, not only that, you killed it at that competition. The last event, though, the sandbag toss, I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
If you have the time.
Sure. What did you want to know about that one?
So we were talking earlier about how the sandbags are a little bit tricky to hold because you're swishing around and there's sand or there's grains inside the bag.
Usually sand, yeah.
That you move around, but it's essentially the weight. It's like 100 pounds. I think it was 100. No.
You're talking about the sandbag throws?
Yes, I am.
So that started out at 15 pounds, 20 pounds, 25.
And then 50, I think.
No, we never got to 50 for us. There were 6, and it was intervals of 5. So 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
Okay.
So 40, yeah.
Yeah, still.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get it.
40 pounds over like an 11
I didn't get it.
Pole?
12 feet.
12 feet, yeah.
I only got one sandbag.
Insane! And you have to like toss it over your shoulder. So you're not even looking at the pole when you're tossing it. You're tossing it behind your back.
So you have handles. The way you're doing it, yeah. You have handles, you swing it back and forth, and you jump and throw.
Dude, never. That was the nastiest event in the whole competition.
Really?
I hated watching you go through it. Because honestly, the sandbags are awkward to carry alone.
Yeah.
So having to take that awkward weight and swing it around like a kettlebell and toss it over your shoulder to pray to God that it goes over this 12-foot pole and not hit somebody at the end. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. And watching that, I was like cringing the entire time. I had my
I wasn't good at it, but I'm excited to do that again.
Oh, it wasn't just you.
Oh, none of us. But like, I wouldn't have thought of it as like a cringy or horrible event.
Dude, there was one man in particular I remember in the open category that was just slinging them back like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And then the last one, he hits the pole and it goes back to him. And I'm thinking to myself, if that freaking weight is hitting me in the head, I'm dead. Like, yep. I already have a concussion right now. My brain's going to rattle out of my ear.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it blows my mind.
Okay. And see, that was like, yeah.
Nothing.
That's not,
and this is what I'm saying.
To me, that's not like a hard event, a scary event.
No. See,
it's a fun event, and I'm not very good at it, and I want to get better at it. It's not like,
yeah.
Well, if I see that, I'm not cringing.
I wouldn't say it's scary, but definitely, like, if I were to have to do that, I'd roll my eyes. It's like having to do algebra on a math exam. It's like, really? Oh God, I really don't want to do this question.
See, that's me with the same, but that's me with the medleys.
Yeah.
And that's the joy. Like, there's so much variety in strongman that there would be something you're really good at and really excel at, and then others you suck.
Yeah.
And that's where you need to put the work in. It's
like, okay, I'm really good at this. I'm not so good at this. And this is where I need to train harder on.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I did not realize how you felt about that.
I'm going to be honest with you. Your mom and I was on one side because it was I don't want to call it a parking lot, but it
was a parking lot.
Okay.
It was.
Your mom was on one side of the parking lot. I had gone on the other side because the way that you were placed, your mom couldn't get a good photo of you or a video of you. So she's like, go on the other side, Megan, and get it.
Sounds about right.
So I went on the other side, and her and I, the entire time that we were watching, not just you, but everybody throw the sandbags, we were looking at each other and we were like this. We really thought that someone was going to get hit with those sandbags. It was I don't want to call it a fear, but yeah, it was a phobia for sure.
That's so funny.
Yeah. You over the fact of strongman itself, and this is why it's so interesting to me, just coming in as a newbie and witnessing it firsthand, to see the events online, to watch the shows and the series, and then to actually experience it firsthand and see it with your own eyes is completely different levels that you get. It's a whole different world.
It is a different world. I agree with that.
Yeah. So I really encourage to go to your local strongman events or go to an annual strongman event in your region and to sit down and watch it and experience it. To experience the ambiance, the people, the atmosphere. Like it really is a marvel to witness.
It is. I agree with that. And I guess for me, I've seen a lot of strongman.
Yeah.
Like that was something they'd have it at an international festival. So like I guess for me it wasn't something new because I've seen it before. It was a local show. It was once a year. I didn't know any of the people, and watching them duck walk with a kettlebell. Now I fucking hate duck walks, and now I understand.
Now she understands.
I'm like that anvil. That's what it was. I was like, what was that thing? It was an anvil they did a duck walk with, and I'm like, I refuse to do a duck walk.
Mm-hmm.
Not happening. Well, I say that now.
No.
But
when it's your turn, you're still going to be gritting your teeth, but you're going to do it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah. So now we're going to do our little recap on our tarot card.
All right.
So we did have the Hangman. Yes. So that was the art of letting go.
The art of letting go and coming to peace with your life, your terms, being patient with yourself,
exactly,
and seeing things through fresh eyes.
Yep.
I definitely still hold on to my opinion on that. Just like being very perceptive, very aware, but maybe not so much through in like a protective sense, more so through like a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure.
How about you? Has your thoughts and feelings changed on the bat?
No, I feel like this one it's really interesting for me. It's kind of a good reflection because I haven't really sat down and like really thought about what Strongman's done for me. Mm-hmm. So like I see that as kind of more of a reflection card, and that's how I'm kind of tying into this one.
No, I like that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little boop, 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 boop. Here you go. Nailed it. Actually, I didn't because I'm completely covering up the name. And then We had
this one. I think is very fitting. It's like the journey's not over. You're just in the hard part. You're in the transitional part.
Yeah.
But no, I think that one's very fitting.
I can concur. It's a little bit more of a positive card.
Yeah,
it's just hard to see the light when you're swamped in the darkness. And as hard as it may be, you got to just keep pushing through.
Exactly.
I think that's the moral of the story.
I agree. So, I think that is all for this week. So, this was a fun one. I love talking Strongman. I get nerd out for hours.
Absolutely. We're always here every other week.
Yeah.
So, catch us next week when we have another discussion. I don't know what's
going to be. We'll figure it out.
Where can they tune into, though, Allie?
Oh, really? Well, we had this little... I actually forgot, and I'm the one at the beginning saying we'd let you know. So thank you, Megan.
I got you.
So you can check us out on Strong SG Shuffle.
We did it.
Podcast.
There you go.
And you can follow me on Allie_Strongwoman to catch up on what I've already done and what I'll be doing now.
Take a look at those bruises.
There are some bruises there. Yes, if you want to scroll a little back, you can actually. I did post about my first competition, all the events I did.
There are some videos of your competition as well.
For my first one, there's I did each one.
Nice. Yeah. And you can find me on Handora_readings, and I mainly just post whatever the heck I want on that one. But just tune in and just see what we're up to. But if you want to keep an eye on the Strong Girl Shuffle podcast, we post some fun reels of our podcast and also a little bit insight about ourselves.
Exactly. Yes, we're going to be posting a little bit more, talking about like what we've been doing at the gym when we go to Strongman together. Maybe we'll post some stuff on our Instagram to find that.
Yeah. Keep in store, guys, and keep shuffling in.
Sounds good. Have a great night, guys. Bye.